I am live. Boy, I'm certainly sweaty. Welcome back, everybody, to the great sweaty mess that is the Burn and Learn. Whew. Okay. Where we at? Where we at? Who we at? Where we be? I know it's a little late for some people, I'm sure. I'll let you all wander in. Hello, Jonathan Layton Huggett. How are you, sir? Good evening. How many minutes? 41 minutes, because I had to get up and shout at the dog. So 41 minutes, my friend. On a low tension today. I've been really off my game the last few days, so I've been taking a little easy on myself, shall we say. Yes, what do we got? I'm convinced I had to go in for my MRI, and I'm convinced that having been in the hospital for that short stint of time that I picked up a bug. But you know, that's just because I'm a hypochondriac. So, anyways, David, how you feeling? How's the weather been for you? Not so bad. Akiba Wolf Productions. It's actually been quite nice. It's very hot, yes, and humid, admittedly, but there's a bit of a breeze now. I've been kind of like it's been a bit. We've had some trees down with the wind. It's been pretty exciting. Rebel time, lady. Hello. Oh my God, there's a lot of people. Geez, people are, hey, everyone's here. Who else we got here? David Sams, how are you? Brim, how are you? Rebecca, Rebel Time Lady. Murgatroyd, how are you? Laura Richards, Wayne Taylor, hi Wayne. Casually Sandra, Paranoid Badger, one of my favorite names still. Chaos Surveyor, Pain Machine, oh my God. Christiane, how are you? Kamikaze UK says hello. Just finished your workout. Oh, good, Brim. Very good. Half-mile swim, 5.5 tons of lifting. Ready for dinner now. Holy cat! Yeah, okay. I hope you're exaggerating like me. Assassinate popped up on my recommendation videos last night. Such a fun little series. It's so funny. You're not the first person to mention that. It's come up a couple of times recently. It's funny. I was thinking about what I could do with my little sister, maybe in Newfoundland, if there was a way of doing something out there, because I was so taken with it. Oh, you're in the basement this time. What you building? Ah, not the basement. This is the garage, actually. The garage with my makeshift air conditioning unit, which is doing a really, really good job, as long as I remember to take out the plug that I put outside for the heat vent. Because the concern is, it's such a lovely place for birds to make nests, squirrels to make their home, raccoons to leave their deposits, or wasp nests. So what I've done is I built I cut a little piece of foam that I stick in the end of it. But if I forget to take it out, the AC, of course, starts making some horrific noises, overheats, and blows all the fuses. So that's one of the things that I actually noticed when I got up to yell at the dog for misbehaving at the back there. I noticed that I'd still had the plug in while I was exercising, so I was about to blow everything. What else we got? Randy the Magic Man. How are you, Randy the Magic Man? Beth. Crazy Nut Denmark, hey there, still got some coins left? I don't, Crazy Nut Denmark. I think I'm done. Well, there's the odd one kicking around, I guess. There's one. Yeah, there's one with some basically terrible CNCing on it. Yeah, there's a few, I guess there's a couple kicking around. Oh my God, I'm so shaky. Man, that really wiped me out. I took a few days off because, as I say, I was feeling a little under the weather. I went in for my MRI, very exciting, and I spent a lot of time on YouTube trying to figure out how to turn an MRI into a 3D object, like a static mesh, that I could use as a villain in a game, and it's genius. So I've been looking into that. I have no idea what the results were, so don't even ask. I had to look at it myself. It doesn't make much sense to me, but that's sort of the point, I guess. And I'll get a report later on that. But the headaches have been bad, really bad. I've been having some serious freaking spiky pain, which I'm convinced is to do with the humidity, the weird rapid changes in humidity here, but we'll see. Anyway, so I actually went in on a day that I was having bad headaches, so that's good, I guess, so they can see exactly what's going on, maybe? I don't know. It's really cool. I talked to the guy about MRIs, and I met a Stargate nerd. So they've got greeters at the hospital because they're under construction. I guess they're worried little old ladies, little old men like me, little old actors are going to come wandering in and get lost on the way to the MRI. So I came in and I met this lovely fellow who was waiting for us. Was it Greg? I I feel like his name was Greg. I can't remember now. To be honest, I was a little bit nervous about the MRI, so I might have forgotten. But anyways, lovely guy. Hello and thanks to whatever your name was. You were a real pleasure and put me at ease. And it turns out had watched Stargate, which was really cute. So he said, well, I said hi, and he said, "Are you here for an MRI?" I said, "Yeah, yeah." And he said, "Okay, well, I'll walk you down there." And he goes, "Are you on television?" And I was like, "I am." And so we got to geek out about Stargate a little bit. I told him that I'm just as bad as McKay at getting around places. Like, I get lost in anything. So hello from a orangey sunset UK. Lovely. We had lovely weather here today. Oh, good. I'm glad, Nixie. How nice for you. It was really nice here actually too. I had a lovely day. My wife has got a spa day, which she so freaking deserves. I resent her immensely for it, because, of course, but she's gone off to do a spa day. My son went off to get new glasses with his friend, and I got to hang out with my old friend Penny, who's a first AD, works on a lot of shows, everything from Discovery to, God, she's done everything. She's basically done everything. Anyway, just an amazing woman, and an old friend. So it was really fun to sit down and chat with her, and have coffee and walk the dog. And then I thought, well, better get off my ass and get some exercise done, because as I say, I took a few days off. For the last few days, just been feeling just really off. I think it's a combination of like bouncing around back and forth to Newfoundland, and then coming in and immediately shooting that other thing on Friday, which was so much fun. Oh my God, so much fun. Sarah, the wonderful woman who plays the lead in this, just so much fun. Like one of those people you just like you get on set and right away you're getting each other's jokes, like just right away. And so of course we were merciless and had so much fun doing it, and did a number of scenes together. Saw a whole bunch of really old friends from the crew, which I haven't seen for years, and just makes you want to make lots of little movies with people. And yeah, and I've been, what else have I done? I finished the script again. So I think I told you I sort of what I would call puked out a script. So I basically just wrote 5 pages a day. Didn't matter what it was, 5 pages a day on this, obviously around this script idea that I had. Then had a little chat with Jane before she read it about some stuff. And she made some really smart suggestions, which I'm trying to make basically, it's going to sound weird, I guess, but like a female horror movie. So guy horror movies tend to end with everyone like fighting and punching and killing and stabbing and then blowing stuff up or setting it on fire. And whereas as a refreshing change, I've been watching a lot of female horror directed, written stuff, and it tends to be a lot more, well, it doesn't have that sort of like violent physical kind of vengeful end, so much as it has these weird sort of like trailing, thoughtful. I mean, I'm not going to say all women do that, but a number of these female led horrors have been kind of exciting to me, because they're just a different approach to this stuff. Like, I mean, I guess it makes sense. I mean, if there's a bunch of old white guys making films based off the old white guy films that they've been seeing, you're going to get a lot of the same stuff, which I frankly love. But Jane and I wanted to do this one together, and she really wanted to sort of step away from sort of the normal stuff that I would be doing, and so she's made me sort of play with the ending, and yeah, it should be kind of fun. It's really not good right now, but at least it's a first draft. So I've basically done 2 fairly considerable passes through this film, and I will. Yeah, I'll continue to work on it, obviously, but I'll get Jane to have a look at it at some point and see where we go with that. But it's just kind of fun. This is the entomological horror one. This is the one that's based on my belief that everything insects do is like a horror movie, and so why not make a horror movie about insects? Yeah. So, and as always, I'm on the insect side. You know, that's just me. I tend to side with with the villains on these things. So I'm quite sort of satisfied with myself for doing that. As a result, of course, my social life and keeping in touch with everyone has been a disaster, because I just sort of lost myself in this stuff between learning lines and being on set and working on the script and trying to do some more sort of future filmmaking, like using some AI and some Unreal Engine to do some stuff. I guess I've got myself a little lost, a little obsessed with that stuff right now. Yeah, and then just anytime I get a chance to hang out with the kid, we'll watch a game or whatever. So it's been really fun. I've been sort of quite enjoying my life right now, though maybe not getting as much done as I should. Yeah, it's summer, and I'm in summer mode to some extent. Sorry, dude, coming back in 10 minutes. Must watch Croatia, Italy to finish. Oh my God, where are they at? Where are they at? Yeah, I've been watching a bunch of them. Will you ever get back in your own basement? Nixie, yeah, probably eventually. Well, I don't even know. I'm not sure if I want to anymore. Like, I'd like to finish this place up. I've been doing lots of research on roofing. Very exciting. Are you reading any new books, Haskell? No new books right now. I've been focusing actually on the Unreal Engine stuff. In fact, that is the learn part of my Burn&Learn today. I've been going through, I've done a number of tutorials on how to use Unreal Engine, which is this gaming engine which Fortnite is built in, and it's being used for, the big video walls in Mandalorian and stuff, and obviously for lots of video games. So I've been working through a bunch of tutorials on that. I like getting a number of different flavors of tutorials, I've done some Winbush tutorials, which have been great. This is all on YouTube, by the way, Winbush. And Unreal Sensei was the other one that I've been working through. And I got another guy and whose name I should look up because I'm quite enjoying it. I really wanted to get, I was finding myself, when I sat down to, like, I would look at these tutorials, it seemed obvious. I'd sit down to do stuff and I'm like, I think I'm missing, I feel like there are stages of understanding that I haven't reached. There was an illusion of knowledge I felt from some of the of my approach to the stuff. And so what I've done is I've been using this guy, Jim Dublance's, or Doubles, his tutorials, and which are great because they're really sort of almost more from a pragmatic standpoint. They're almost more programming than anything else. I mean, it's obviously Blueprint. A lot of the stuff is Blueprint. I don't know why I went straight to Blueprint because the reality is I just wanted to use them for making films, but I just, like always, I tend to get sucked into the nerdy stuff, and the idea of automating the creation of stuff in these worlds just is far more fascinating to me right now. So I've been working through that. This one has just been basically talking about, physics and collision within the engine, how you can set that, also what the different objects are, this is where I think I was getting lost, was I was finding myself creating something and going like, why isn't that working? And then I'm like, oh my God, it's not the right object. Like I was using a pawn instead of an actor and a blueprint instead of a blah, 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 blah. So anyway, so what was nice about this guy's tutorials is he really broke it down into, okay, look, you've got an object at the top. Everything in Unreal is an object because it's object-oriented programming, which has been around forever and tends to be the way this game stuff works. Then you have these nodes because it's a visual, with the blueprint stuff, it's a visual language. So the nodes are basically these little chunks of code that you can plug your things into without having to write all the code. You sort of drag and drop stuff into it, almost like a big fancy version of Scratch programming or something like that. Drag and drop programming to some extent. But it's all very good to say it's drag and drop if you don't understand the underlying, like where these things sit in the hierarchy of the programming language. It's very easy to start getting thrown off when you start trying to play with the blueprints and things. So I really wanted to get a good background in that. So this guy's definitely be doing that for me. So that was today's mission, and it was fantastic because I got through 41 minutes of torture device on the elliptical torture device. God, I freaking hate the thing. Anyways, but so yeah, a little bit backwards, a little bit forwards as usual, and as I say, the AC just thundering away in the hopes of keeping me alive and fit. Yeah, so that's basically it. What about you? What the heck? Someone's throwing money at me. What is that? Are you going to think about attending SpaceCon in San Antonio this year in October? You were the best in SG Atlantis. Huge fan. Mick from Houston. Oh my gosh. Well, Mikhail R., who just gave me almost $20. Wow. Thank you very much. I didn't realize that this was set up the way it is. But so that's great. Oh, fantastic. Okay, I got $20. I'll buy myself a cider or something. Thank you. And I've not heard of SpaceCon, but I'll have to check it out. I haven't. I did a bunch of conventions this year, Mikhail, and I really enjoyed them. I don't want to do too many because I want to enjoy them, if that makes sense. So I'm going to have a look at SpaceCon for sure. It also, a lot of it just comes down to what I'm invited to. You know what I mean? If as an actor, if you approach a convention and say, "Hey, I'd like to go to your convention," it immediately undermines your negotiating ability of your managerial people. So they don't love it when I do that. But maybe I'll sort of go, "Hey, what's SpaceCon and what's going on there?" So I'll give it a look. Or maybe it's actually SpaceCon. Oh, maybe it's just about space. Maybe I can just go as a person, as a real person, not as a fake actor person. I will have a look. Thank you. That's great. Mick, appreciate it. Thank you very much. And yeah, thanks for the money. Jeez, that's amazing. I guess that bounces you. I guess if you throw money at me or at YouTube, it allows you to bounce up to the foreground in your questioning. All right. Hi, David. Greetings from Luxembourg. How's the Wi-Fi? Sent you last time a suggestion to install a TP-Link signal extension. Yeah, I've got. Thanks, Dana. I've done a bunch of that. I had a number. I was using a little Netgate system for a while that I had plugged into a TP-Link thing that was doing all the extenders and stuff. I don't know what the issue is. There must be some kind of interference. I mean, I think I'm in a very densely populated part of Toronto. I'm in a pretty well-to-do neighborhood of Toronto, so I think a lot of people have some really hot sit technology. So they've probably got some more powerful routers than I do. Right now, I'm using a thing called Orbi, which is pretty good. I have 3 of those that sort of broadcast out the signal and seem to do a pretty good job. The last issue I discovered, I forgot to tell you about this actually. The last issue we had where it kept dropping and it was driving me crazy. I couldn't figure out what it was. The Orbi downstairs, so like basically the repeater downstairs, had been unplugged because I don't know whether someone found the light irritating or what the deal was, or maybe someone just was wondering what that plug was. Anyways, it was unplugged, so that sort of was wreaking havoc with everything along the way. Randy the Magic Man, you do have a coin, it's true. No exaggeration, total weight over all sets. Wow, Brimstone, seriously? Holy crap, that is impressive. Wow. Well, you're not welcome here then, Brim, because you're way too fit. I'm just here to complain about what I can't do. No, that's good, well done. All right. Hi, Dr. McKay. Next time you are in KW, let me buy you a tea. Oh, well, thank you very much. That's very nice. Yeah, that's jolly nice. The serious salamander. Our salamanders are mostly pretty serious, aren't they? Thank you very much. I hope you're serious about the tea. Casually, Sandra says you're not old. You're a good liar. Christiane says, or Guelph, oh boy, my migraines have been real special the last few days. Oh, really, Rebel? That's interesting. And Rebel, you're in Toronto as well, aren't you? Yeah, I've been having a really tough time with them. If it's not that kind of horrible, woozy, go to bed and in a dark room kind of migraine, it's been these really weird, random spikes in the head, and that's what I think the doc was getting me in for the MRI for. So that's what that. Hope after MRI they'll confirm there's nothing serious. Oh, Dana, I'm sure it's nothing. That's not. You know what? Honestly, I probably wouldn't be mentioning it if I thought there was any likelihood of it being something horrible, but hey, great YouTube if it is. Don't even joke. Biggie SC says, I never thought they would, but they felt it warmed to become the thing that they told me before that. Not sure what's happening there. Is that like a bot gone bad? Sarah Michelle Gellar as in Buffy. Oh, she was cool. Really hope everything is okay. So glad I caught another live stream. I have a hypothetical question. If someone were to have a Stargate-themed wedding and invited you, would you be willing to attend? Oh my God. Wormkind, I am very flattered. Thank you very much. I have been invited to a few weddings of the Stargate nature. The reality is, I don't really go to weddings anyways. I didn't want a wedding particularly for myself. I tend to avoid weddings. I find them like a bit sort of I don't know, panic-inducing for me for some reason. But you never know. Maybe if I'm around and the evening is free or whatever, you know what the weird thing is? Get this. I actually in California, I'm a member of something called I was a member of something called what are they called? The spiritual humanists or something? That basically said, once we've discovered God, I will believe in them. But up until then, whatever. It's no holds barred. And the point of it was actually to get myself to be allowed to. It was like a loophole in California for allow people someone who wasn't a priest to marry people. So I married some friends of ours. So I actually, the funny thing is I can't actually do a ceremony. Sarah Polly, Sarah Polly's fantastic. Right back at you. Don't worry, I'm too stubborn to succumb to it too. Rebel, were you in Toronto? There's a way for you to use the name Dr. Rodney McKay legally. I wish. Could I change my name to Dr. Rodney McKay? Would that work? Although I don't really feel like throwing away the Hewlett thing. I quite like that too. I've done okay with the Hewlett thing. Howdy to you, Ben Palmer. Brimstone, I feel like I've been swimming in the past for 2 weeks, no lifting, but the doc gave me the all clear to lift again, so tonight was a comfy easing back into it. Wow, well done. Women horror, psychological terror, right? No, not so much, Alexander. I mean, some of the most horrific horror that I've seen is done by women. It's not I mean, I shouldn't generalize by saying that this is a type of female horror. I just think it's getting me to question my default solution to these horrific events that we've come up with, and I think that there is maybe it's not just female. It's just just looking for a different perspective on this stuff. I mean, we've seen an awful lot of, the 80s were full of old white male horror, basically, or young white male horror. And as wonderful as that was, and I still enjoy it to this day very much. I'm not belittling it in any way. It's just, I think at this point I'm looking for something different. That's why I'm watching a lot of horrors. I'm looking for like a different things to surprise me and stuff. So I'm sort of turning to different backgrounds and different just different perspectives on the world, in the hopes that I can come up with some new interesting stuff, because I don't want to recreate stuff that I've seen. I want to try something different. So anyways, and I'm really hoping that I can talk Jane into directing it, basically. Well, we would co-direct it, but basically, I would just be there going, yes, honey, I think it's a great idea. You should write an Insecticons movie. Insecticons, ooh, like a Decepticons only with insects. I mean, the funny thing is, they're pretty creepy on their own. You don't have to write much. That's what I love about the one I've been working on, is that I've got to just play with a bunch of stuff that insects already do. So, still contemplating using Unreal to make a movie. Yes, Ben Palmer, absolutely. Like I say, my Burn&Learns these days are all about watching tutorials on Unreal. In fact, as soon as this is done, I'm going to go shower off, say hi to the kid, probably watch a football game, because I seem to be dragged into a lot of those recently. But I will have Unreal Engine going, and I'm hoping to try out some of the stuff I've just learned. So, when will the movie Levels be released? I've noticed Amanda Tapping is in the cast as well. Yes, and I'm quite happy to say that I was just a little bit involved in that. I have a role in the movie, but I also her name came up in discussions about who we could get for a certain role in the movie, and I was a big fan of that, to the point where I think I actually emailed her and said, you should do this. Okay, damn pictures. All right, what do you got? Do you ever feel trapped by being known for SG? No, not at all. Not at all. No, it's funny, Piggy, because or Piggy, I don't know how to say that. I like Piggy because I want a Piggy myself. I'd like to get a nice pig when I go and live in Warwickshire. I'd like to have a nice pig and a tractor. No, I don't, not at all. Because what's wonderful about it is that within the sci-fi world, yes, absolutely. I want the more people who know about Stargate, the better, because the more who see it, the more want to work with me. It's great. It's been amazing for that stuff. So in the sci-fi world, they go, oh, great, he does sci-fi, perfect, great, I get to do more sci-fi. And people who don't watch sci-fi or aren't interested in that aspect of it, I'm not pigeonholed at all. In fact, I play a certain type of person in science fiction movies that I don't play outside of that. Although the character that I'm playing in the most recent one, I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say or what I'm not, which is a really fun sort of series of little movies. I shouldn't say little because they're not, but a series of movies, and is a very McKay-like in a certain way. If McKay had gone a different route, perhaps there's definitely some McKayisms in there for that. Nice to you study Unreal. I'm using it for making a game. So much fun. Oh, my Gervais, I'm so jealous. How is it going? What kind of stuff are you doing? What kind of game are you making? If you take something you've made an Unreal Engine and 3D print it, do you have to call it Real Engine? Someone's telling dad jokes. No, but I will say something about that along those lines. Something else I've been researching is using AI image creation. So I do a lot of image generation with AI. I love it. I think it's fantastic. To me, it's a creative output that I would never have been able to do without the technology that's available. I mean, I'm not going to equate it to real artist type stuff, but for me, making it to help me visualize stuff for myself. As you know, I did that Mad Max thing, Mad Mouse Furry Road. Go check that out on YouTube if you want. That was sort of fun. I sort of like to pursue that a bit. But one of the things I was looking into was could you take an AI image that is generated? Could you then turn that into a static mesh or a 3D model, as they call them, static meshes in Unreal Engine, but basically a 3D model that you could then, I suppose you could 3D print it, you could also bring it into the game, and all of a sudden you have these characters that you've imagined and had these AI things generated for you. You can then animate them and bring them in. It would save a huge amount of work, and it would be fantastic, even just for pre-visualizing stuff, or like being able to go into a room and say, like, look, this is what we want to do, this kind of a thing. And then you can bring in real artists and stuff to do the real work. But it just sort of covers a lot of the heavy lifting for someone who just goes like, I wonder. It's a great tool for that kind of stuff. And eventually I think it's going to be a great tool for actually making films as well. But so one of the things I've been looking into actually has been, how do I take things that are flat, flat artistic creations by an AI and then have them converted into a 3D model that is then wrapped in these materials so that it looks accurate, and then how do you bring it in and animate it into an Unreal? And there's definitely some workflows that work for that. So I will be playing with that for sure. I have to learn how to walk or crawl before I run, because I feel like I've got very far conceptually in how Unreal works, but I haven't had the time to do the hands-on stuff. And I think there's an illusion of knowledge you get from this stuff that I think you got to be sort of careful. You think you understand, and you're working the stuff through, and the reality is you're basically just entertaining yourself by watching videos. Winbush, Unreal Sensei, John Belush. Yes, Dan. Morning from Australia. How are we going? We're going very well, Spinnermaker. I hope you're doing well. How goes the dino hunt? Where did you get the hat? I want one. Well, it's funny you should ask about that. That is my I Am Canardian hat, and that is available on my store. I couldn't have asked for a better plug there. So head over to techbandits.org. There is a store link, and I would very much appreciate if you go and buy some of my silly stuff. Oh, by the way, I can't remember who was asking about it, but organic intelligence instead of AI. Organic intelligence. I've had a go at a few logo approaches to that. So have a look at those too. I think you might get a kick out of that. Oh my gosh, look at this. There's a 10-pound sandwich just came up. That's interesting. Bacon head eating. You are great. You don't have to pay me 10 pounds to tell me I'm great. Bacon head eating. But thank you. That's fantastic. My God, that's a pint or two in England, isn't it? Thank you very much. Well, you're even greater. How's that? You're 10 pounds greater than I am, although I got a few pounds on you, I'm sure. Thank you very much. Mate, I love you in Atlantic University days. In Atlantis, I'm guessing. University days. And what are you taking now? Where'd you end up, Surinder? I'm working on a hyper nerdy game. It is for exactly 7 people on the whole planet. It's a guessing game where you need to guess an extinct animal, and if you are wrong, it tells you the last common class. Ooh, that is some nerdy stuff, Spinnerbreaker. But you never know. You never know. Okay. Oh my God, I've only now just caught up to McHale's. Jesus, wow. Okay. 41 minutes of embracing the moment. I don't know what that means. One of us. Welcome to game development. Excuse the mess. Help yourself to the snacks. Oh, Ben Palmer. Yeah, I've been playing with, sort of dabbling in the programming side of stuff for years now. Gaming was just sort of inaccessible to me because of the amount of knowledge you would need. I did so much research on this stuff because I felt, for decades now, I felt like gaming was sort of almost where I belonged somehow. So, but now I'm sort of almost more interested in the intersection of the two, between the gaming and the actual filmmaking side of stuff. In fact, the director I was working with on Friday. He's directed a bunch of stuff He's worked on Far Cry. He's worked on, I think it was Ubisoft. He's worked with a bunch of stuff, and I should ask him about it because I'd be fascinated to do some of that stuff. Like, wouldn't it be neat to do some writing for video games, or some directing for video games, or writing, directing, whatever? You know what I mean? And of course, well, and I guess acting as well, I suppose. Well, yeah, that. Finally got to catch you live. How you doing, old chap? Well, thank you, Vertex, or V1RT1X. I'm very good, thank you. Old, admittedly old, it's true. Magdalena says, great cheers from Poland. Oh my God, it's crazy I caught your stream. Oh, I'm so happy. Well, thank you very much. And I've never been to Poland. Well, lots of love right back at you in that fine country of yours. Other SG team will be there. SG1. Oh, really? Mikhail says, oh, what? Who else is going? Start a roof fund. There you go. Okay. All right. All right. So these texts will, so far I've got, what have I got? I got 10 pounds and $19 towards a roof fund. Very good. Casualty Center says, Amanda, Terrell, RDA, Ben, and Michael Shanks are in attendance for SpaceCon. Wow. Well, they're probably booked out then at this point, aren't they? As a Python programmer, Python being object-oriented, I really enjoy talking about all that. Some people feel as though object-oriented priorities are a mistake. I think it's more human. I love I remember programming before object-oriented programming became sort of the de facto standard. And I love it. I mean, I struggle to get my head around a lot of this stuff, but and especially Python. Oh my God, Python is near and dear to my heart. Python's also something that's amazing to work with AI on. So it has some great AI packages, and also AI is very good at explaining how to get some Python that actually works. I actually love that stuff. Ubiquity access points. Oh, I know. Ben, I would use them except they were just expensive. That's all. Ubiquity is amazing, but it ain't cheap. So that was I'm afraid I sort of cheaped out a bit. YouTube Shorts setting me to a subscribed and decent live stream for once. Oh, good. Someone proved good. I'm so glad. I'm so happy. You are awesome in Stargate NC. Thank you, Travis. That's very kind of you. Oh, yes, you're in Hamilton. You're in the Hammer, of course, Rebel. Yeah, well, I'm not glad to hear you have headaches as well, but I'm glad that it works with my theory that it's pressure related. Anyways, for the migraines, where is the shrine? I need Jules State with a drill. Tell me about it. I get terrible migraines when we're getting a thunderstorm. Well, there you go, Mandy. So that's kind of where I'm at. David, you could still ascend and come back as a young David. I'm working on it. Trust me. That's I'll ascend on this damn torture device one day. Going to watch SGA again for the 5th time. Holy mother. Alexander McKay, favorite character. I'm only 6 years younger. Whew, it's a lot of years. 6 years, a lot of years. Oh well, I'll cancel these Dell parts then. What? What are you canceling, Wayne? There are quite a few of us Ontarians here. Oh, good. As I was told, weddings aren't about the groom; they are all about the bride. I would go further, Bad Wolf, in that I don't think it's about either of you. I think a wedding is almost entirely about the parents, but that's just me. My uncle went too young from brain cancer. Oh no! And the irony, his wife was a brain doctor. It is hard when there is just nothing to do. Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, I sort of feel like when your ticket is up, your ticket's up, right? I mean, I'm not to be too, I'm sure it'd be very different if I was actually faced with it, because I don't just play a coward on television. I'm a complete coward in life as well. But I sort of, there's a part of me from a health standpoint that, I'll do what I can. That's why I'm on the freaking torture devices, to try to live long enough to enjoy, my retirement years with my fabulous wife. Do what I can on that front. I'm not terribly good about the eating. I'm not very good at eating. I eat all the worst stuff. You know what I had today for food? I've had 4 pieces of toast and a cinnamon bun. So probably not exactly the best. Oh no, I had a protein bar before I got on the elliptical device. Says Denise and I like you. Oh, very good. Thank you. Hello, Marco. Hello. Keto diet cured my migraines and pre-diabetes. Really? Keto diet. It's not a bad diet for me because I really do like my meat. I do like my steaks and all that kind of stuff. Battlestar Galactica is supposed to be getting another reboot. Look, here, Bob Ross. Bob Ross? Here's the thing. I loved the original Battlestar. I loved the new Battlestar. Absolutely loved it. My wife and I just binged that show. Oh my God, I just couldn't wait for each new episode of that show. And the actors were brilliant, and I've been very, very fortunate in my life in that I've been able to meet a few of them and tell them how freaking great they are. Fantastic actors. But you know what? Why not do something new? Like, why do we have to freaking reboot everything? Why not do, like, hopeful. I mean, I'm hoping that if they do another Battlestar, they don't reboot it, or they just freaking do another Battlestar. Don't freaking remake the freaking Battlestars. Don't remake everything. Why does everything have to be remade? Why not? What's going to happen to society if the only things we can produce, or the only thing that get produced, are remakes of the old stuff that's already been made? This is why I'm up late at night watching freaking weird ass horror thriller stuff, late at night, because I'm just desperate for something to surprise me, something to go, oh, I didn't see that coming, or oh, I didn't know he was the bad one, or she was, or you know what I mean? Like I'm so desperate for that sort of like that wonder and that joy in discovering a film as it unfolds, instead of going like, yep, there's the formula. Oh my God, as my son says, oh, we're at the all is lost moment. What will they do? Oh, they'll look at that and go, wait a second. I mean, it's just, I understand that there are structures that you build a script around, and I probably don't write good scripts because I tend to sort of shy away from some of those structures, but I just so crave not being able to guess what's happening in a film. I just watched a wonderful film actually recently, which I'm sure most of you have already seen because I'm just so far behind this stuff. But I watched a film called Anatomy of a Fall, which was up for an Oscar, I think, last year. Just amazing film. Like, just an amazing film. It reminded me a lot of Red Rooms, which was a Montreal film that I watched at Fantasia last year, which was also brilliant. In fact, two very brilliant films about two horrible situations, and I would highly recommend both of them to you. One of them a very stylized, very cool, beautiful, cold film, and the other one just a kind of a wonderfully, weirdly warm and human and it didn't feel like it was leading you at all, and it was very sort of almost documentary, and it's not documentary, but sort of just sitting back, like, director's eye type stuff. Not a lot of crazy shots or anything. Some wonderful choices in what they showed and what they didn't, which I would also attribute to Red Rooms as well. Red Rooms, don't read the description, is my advice. Don't watch the trailer. Just watch the film, because it is a film about some horrible, horrible things that thankfully we don't really get into. You don't have to see anything. You get that as a backdrop, and it gives you this wonderful sense of unease. And oh my God, talk about a fantastic thriller. That was a great one. Diverse perspectives are awesome, and you agreed some great horror with the rats. A great episode. Oh, thanks, man. Some approved. Yeah, I did like my rats. I will definitely watch that movie, Hewlett. Thank you. Very good. Hewlett, 2 thumbs up. So there's 2 movies you have a look at. So have a look at Anatomy of a Fall. Have a look at Red Rooms, because I think you'll enjoy that. And I think I may have to leave you on that because I should probably run. I'm so happy she returns to acting. Didn't hear of Levels before now, and I want to see it. There's a very cool trailer for Levels, and it is a freaking amazing cast. Aside from me, it's an amazing cast, and then there's also me in it. You got to check it out. It's pretty great. David, if you don't know if you're allowed to talk about a new show, film, etc., just say you're doing a role at the local community playhouse. Got it. I'm doing a wonderful community play about Christmas. So doing season after season didn't typecast you into those roles. That's awesome. No, I think it did. I mean, definitely Bad Wolf. I'm definitely typecast to some extent. But there's also just the reality of what is your hit? Like, what do you look like? What do you I've always played either dangerously strange or amusingly strange or whimsically strange. I rarely play normal, and when I do, it's usually. I mean, I think Guillermo del Toro put it best. He said He said, David is a wonderful human being, but a much better victim. I mean, nowadays I play a lot of victims, and it's so much fun. I love dying on camera. Anyways, if you ask a doctor with the same name, you can ask if he can be his name. It's been done before, I'm sure. David's still trying to get me to become McKay. Unfortunately, people use AI image generation also doing wrong. Yeah, no, absolutely. Look, as with everything, right? I mean, with every new technology jump, there are going to be charlatans and thieves and bad people doing bad things with it. I just think that I feel like it's going to be around, and I feel like we got to get used to we got to figure out how to make it work and what makes us comfortable and what makes us uncomfortable about it. So we need to be aware of it so we can help steer where it's going and how it gets used. I mean, one of the more terrifying ways that it's being used now is in cybersecurity. So it is being used by hackers to come up with better ways to trick us out of our money. So they got to be very, very careful with that stuff. There's an extraordinary story about a meeting that was being held by a company, and the head of the company was holding this meeting and was talking to everyone in the room, and at one point they said, look, okay, whatever it was, their chief financial officer said to the chief financial officer, okay, we need to get $25 million to this other company. Here's the information. Can you get on that now? Sends the money off. Well, it turns out that wasn't the head of the company. It was a deep fake of the head of the company, voice and video done live in a Zoom chat. And I'm not sure whether they actually got away with it, but $25 million was transferred without a bat of an eye. So I think we're going to see a lot more of these. We're going to hear a lot more about frantic phone calls saying that your child has been arrested in Mexico or something. So you got to be really, I mean, you don't want to be, I hate being so distrusting, but there are so many scams out there. I actually wondered about starting to do some little TikToks where I just talked about some new scam that I'd heard about, because I just think it would be, first off, kind of a fun, I love it because it's all hacking and cybersecurity stuff, which I just adore. But also, I just think it's also a bit of a public service announcement, and I also just think some of these scams are freaking genius, like genius. They've got. I'm trying to think of one of the other ones that came up recently. Well, whenever there's any kind of a big hack, or anything hits the news like that, or that there's going to be a rebate or a tax season or whatever, there will always be scams that come along with it. And the AI is getting much, much better at going like, what information can I gather from the internet and put into a machine learning model and spit out a letter that is most likely to actually get your attention. And there's just ingenious ways that people are doing this stuff. Again, inbound calls. Usually, it's like, I think one of the pieces of advice that was given, which I thought was amazing, was that if it's unexpected, and if it's doing something out of the ordinary, then you should clarify and make sure that it's legit, because that's what they play on. They play on like time. Oh my God, you've got like half an hour until you get on that plane. If you don't get this stuff, if you don't get that paperwork sent off, you're in trouble. And if it's asking you to do something that is out of the normal, then you need to spend more time thinking about it and not get pressured into it. And there's also the playing on the Good Samaritan stuff, right? Where we want to help people. You know what I mean? We want to help people, and there are some really horrible people out there who will take their money, including things like there's scams where people are raising money for kids' funerals. Like, how freaking disgusting is that? There's a lot of ways in that people have figured their way in. I mean, poor Jane had her Instagram stolen because she got a nice little email she got a nice little Instagram message from one of her friends saying, "Oh my God, it's funding time and I have to send in this letter. Please, can you if you could just sign this one that I've written, that'd be great." So she clicks on the freaking link to sign the letter. There is no letter. It immediately takes her account, and this happened to every single one of her friends. Every single one of the friends on this woman's Instagram. So she gets taken, and now I'm sure it's done the same thing to everyone else. And of course, Instagram is not responsible for it. Instagram won't respond to any tech support questions. They won't fix it. We've tried everything. She gave up. She just gave up. She left the account and started another account. Look, I had my domain name taken away. You know, I had davidhewlett.com. I had it for years. And I guess in one of the switchovers, there was either I sent the wrong email in or I answered the wrong email or whatever, and I lost davidhewlett.com, and it's now, you know, someone's trying to sell it back to me for $5,000 or whatever, and I'm like, F you, you cheating, thieving piece of cyber crap. And I registered David I. Hewlett because, you know what, I'm David Ian Hewlett, so why not? I just don't want to give them the money. It just seems, I mean, there's probably a legal way around it, I suppose, but you know, I haven't done it. I mean, I looked into it and it looked a little complicated, and I was just like, whatever, you know. But it just, God, people suck, and people are great. There you go, back and forth. Did you have a favorite SGA writer who wrote McKay the best? Oh my God. Probably Brad. I mean, they all were pretty good with the McKay. They were all kind of McKay in their own way, but Brad really had a knack for both making you laugh and pulling your heartstrings. You know, Coop didn't do a lot, and I think Coop actually came up with McKay in the first place, but and so wrote some of the earlier stuff. I think he tended not to write a lot of McKay stuff. I mean, they were all involved in it, obviously, all the time, and Brad and Coop would often, you know, would look over the scripts and stuff. So, and then of course there's Garrow. I mean, Garrow just wrote some freaking hilarious stuff. He's just one of the funniest, smartest, you know, writers out there. So he was just, he was amazing. Anyways, all right, I should run. Thank you all. How long have I been nattering on for? Holy crap, 45 minutes? That's insane. Okay, did I miss anyone? I didn't miss anyone throwing money around, did I? I don't want to. God, I don't want to. Now I feel horrible. All right. Okay. Don't have a sub. Waiting until Friday for the pre-release of Dawn Trail. What's that? Cal, if you're out there, hello. GM from New Zealand. I love The Dog's Breakfast. Did you work on it at the same time as Atlantis? I did. Absolutely. Yeah. In fact, we couldn't have made it without Stargate. We used all the Stargate crew, and you know, I basically took an inventory of what I had access to, and it was this wonderful crew and a fabulous bunch of actors, you know, friends and family, and it was still, I think, one of my favorite projects ever. I just absolutely loved it. You know, I wish there was a Stargate crew I could go to now. I wonder, you know, if maybe there are other ways of doing it, but back then it was possible. I think now it would be a little difficult. Well, it would be difficult now also partially because I paid for the whole thing, right? I basically paid for the whole thing. Once I started making the film, people got interested and actually started giving me money to be involved in it, which I thought was interesting. And people would, I can't remember what the term is now, but they'd put off payment on so they would get paid a small amount to make the film or nothing to make the film. And then the hope is that when the movie made any money, they would get money. Well, they've all got their money plus a huge percentage. So I'm very happy about that we could do that for everybody. And it's the only movie I've ever been on that's done that. And I don't know whether that's because the accounting's a bit wonky for most people, but Jane is running this ship, and she is making sure everyone gets the money, and it's lovely because often, I mean, it's basically run out now, but for a while there, just before Christmas, every year there'd be a check, and maybe it'd be like $50 here, $50 there, or whatever. But it's just a nice little treat for people and to remind them, and a great way to get back in touch with people again, to give them some cash, and it's just been absolutely lovely. Yeah, it's fantastic. All right, I'm out of here. So. Don't know when I'll see you again. Better be tomorrow, because I should get back on the torture device train, I think. As I say, just took a few days off, and I'm hoping that will make me feel better. This better not crush me. So until we geek again, I will say, be brave, be kind, be brilliant, a cheerio, and huzzah! And thank you all. Thank you to everyone. And thank you to for people paying to put chats in. That's very sweet of you. Thank you very much. All right. Cheerio. Bye.